Why is Next.js so popular? What is a new mental paradigm shift everyone is talking about? Is it another framework or it brings something new to the table? To figure it out, we are going back, way back to the beginning of the internet.
This, Jen, is the internet.
World Wide Web was made possible by the theories of J.C.R. Licklider, who basically said, hey, what if we took landlines and instead of having phones connected to them, it was computers?
So I took the initiative in creating the internet.
Internet, schminternet.
On March 12, 1899, Tim Berners-Lee proposed a system that combined three ideas: interconnected hypertext, unique identifiers, and a protocol for sharing information, HTTP. Netscape, a pioneering web browser company, wants to add some magic to the web by making it more interactive. They assign a brilliant engineer named Brendan Eich to create a scripting language that can bring web pages to life. In just 10 days, Brendan Eich works his coding wizardry and gives birth to JavaScript. JavaScript quickly earned a reputation for being, well, a bit annoying. It was often associated with those pesky website elements that drove users crazy.
What the? What's all that crap?
On the server side, technologies like PHP, ASP.NET, Ruby on Rails, and Java server pages gained popularity. These server-side scripting languages provided dynamic content generation and database connectivity, enabling the creation of more complex database applications. Back in 1999, something big happened. It was called AJAX, and it totally shook things up in the web world. Before AJAX, whenever you wanted to get some fresh data from a web server, you had to reload the whole page. But AJAX gave browsers the ability to communicate with the server behind the scenes, without making you sit through a page reload. Nonetheless, JavaScript was going through an existential crisis. It wasn't sure if it wanted to be a respected programming language or just a fun little toy. This caused a lot of chaos, with different frameworks like jQuery and modules battling it out for dominance. Meanwhile, there was a growing demand for more advanced applications that could do all sorts of cool stuff. The problem was developers were still relying heavily on server-rendered technology. This meant that as more features were added to the client side, things started slowing down. The DOM scripting era of vanilla JavaScript and jQuery eventually led to the lawless period of AngularJS, which eventually led to the creation of a library called ReactJS. React introduced a groundbreaking concept, where the view of your application became a function of its state. To empower developers in describing the UI components from within the component itself, React introduced JSX.
So, along with React, we are shipping an embeddable XML syntax, and we're calling that JSX.
Everyone hated it. Everyone thought it was awful.
If you already know JavaScript and HTML, which is common for web app developers, you can learn JSX in just a few minutes. It's a way to write code that's easy to understand and use. Unfortunately, the simple elegance of React often took a backseat to the overwhelming difficulties faced when trying to set up even the most basic application. The problem is that, at the end of the day, most developers want everything just to work without tinkering with Webpack configs and spending a week just to setting up a basic project. After years of wandering in the wilderness, Create React App was created to make getting up and running as easy as possible. With one command, you would get a production-ready React app. No longer did you have to worry about tinkering with Webpack, ESLint, or Babel. This allowed you to focus on building your app rather than configuring it. Create React App was a huge blessing to the React ecosystem at that time. But the problem was that AngularJS and React were optimized for creating single-page applications. With SPAs, instead of making a request to the server every time a user visited a new page, your application would load all the necessary HTML and CSS and JavaScript for your application on the initial request. SPAs tend to encourage large bundle sizes, and if you are not careful, this is especially problematic for users on slow internet connections or mobile devices. Additionally, SPAs are not perfect for search engine optimization. because you are relying on Google's ability to execute your JavaScript before it's able to parse the content of your page. December 21, 2020. React team introduced server components that run ahead of time and are excluded from your JavaScript bundle. Server components can run during the build, letting you read from the file system or fetch static content. They can also run on the server, letting you access your data layer without having to build an API. So you may be thinking, why server components? What are the advantages of using them over client components? Server components allow developers to better leverage server infrastructure. For example, you can move data fetching to the server closer to your database and keep large dependencies that previously would impact the client JavaScript bundle size on the server, leading to improved performance. Server components make writing a React application feel similar to PHP or Ruby on Rails, but with the power and flexibility of React and the components model for templating UI. With server components, the initial page load is faster, the client-size JavaScript bundle size is reduced. Next.js is the ultimate result of everything we have learned in the past 20 years of building for the web. It combines the simplicity of the earlier document era, the strengths of server rendering, the flexibility of React, and the smooth user experience of single-page applications. Plus, it minimizes the drawbacks that came with each era. It's like a masterful blend of the best web development techniques, creating a truly remarkable experience.